My goodness, the Indiana Fever house appears to be on fire as they are now acting out of desperation. Make no mistake about it. The Indiana Fever are acting out of desperation. Listen, they're giving away Twinkies and cups of ice cream for fans to come to games. They're giving away free tires and oil changes to get you to come out the games. Ticket prices are plummeting. They are selling thousands of tickets less per game than they were, especially in Caitlin Clark's rookie year and in her second season. They have no one to blame but themselves. They're doing all these gimmicks. We're going to get into that. But a broadcaster, Kate Scott, was brutally honest about Caitlin Clark's turnover situation. She did not hold back. This was live on the telecast. We've got to get into it.
Yo, did you hear that? A national television broadcaster actually stopped a live WNBA game to tell the internet to chill out about Caitlin Clark on NBC and Peacock right in the fourth quarter, because that just happened. It is real, and we are breaking down every single layer of this Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever situation right now. There are at least 3 different fires burning in this drama at the same time, and Street Hoops is going to tackle every single one. I am Dre Fever. Welcome to the show. Let's get right to it. Let us start with Kate Scott. She deserves her flowers, and she absolutely earned this opening segment. See, Kate Scott is the NBC and Peacock play-by-play voice for the league. She is incredibly accomplished as a sports broadcaster, having called NBA games, NFL matchups, the Olympics, and even the FIFA World Cup. She has worked games for the Philadelphia 76ers and was the first woman commentator in the Madden NFL video game franchise. When Kate Scott speaks, she knows exactly what she is doing. She is not reckless, and she is not some hot take artist. She is a professional at the absolute highest level. So, when Kate Scott paused the Indiana Fever and Seattle Storm game in the fourth quarter on national television to address those turnover critics directly and live on air without a script, it was no accident. It was a choice. During the Donner game, Scott stepped in after her partner LaChina Robinson pointed out that Clark accounted for 38 of Indiana's points with under 10 minutes left. Scott chimed in, saying, "That is worth mentioning, LaChina, because we all read the comments, right? We see that some folks complain about how much Caitlin turns the ball over. They are always looking for something." Then she actually looked up the numbers, comparing Clark's assist-to-turnover ratio to the NBA's elite playmakers. Here is what she found. Nikola Jokic, the 3-time NBA Most Valuable Player and reigning champion, averages about 10 assists and 4 turnovers per game. Cade Cunningham, of the Detroit Pistons, one of the premier guards in the league today, averages about 9.5 assists and 4 turnovers a game. Then Kate Scott laid it out straight. Calm down, everybody. When you handle the ball constantly, you will have turnovers. Welcome to the sport of basketball. I am off the soapbox now. Here is why that Kate Scott moment is so important. Far beyond just one broadcast segment, it matters because the turnover narrative around Caitlin Clark is easily one of the most persistent, highly dishonest attacks thrown at her since she entered the league. Every time someone wants to take a shot at Clark without sounding like a hater, they bring up turnovers. They say she turns it over too much, she is reckless with the ball, or not a winning player. But the people making those claims never tell you the rest of the story. They never mention she also leads, or is near the top of the league, in assists. They completely ignore her extreme usage rate and the fact that Clark handles the ball far more than almost anyone else in the WNBA, running the team's offense for the majority of every single game. Records show that Clark has averaged at least 5 turnovers a game across all 3 of her WNBA seasons. That is a high number, sure, but her career assist average sits at 8.5 per game, and Stats shown during that Seattle game prove that Clark's usage rate is the highest in the entire WNBA. The absolute highest, meaning nobody in this league touches the ball more than her. And when you have it that much, when you are the main playmaker, the primary decision maker, the engine of the offense, you will have turnovers. Jokic has them, Cunningham has them, LeBron James and prime James Harden had them too. This is not a flaw. It is simply what high-usage offensive creation looks like. And here is the kicker, Kate Scott, left out, likely because it makes the critics look even worse. According to latest reports, the current WNBA leader in turnovers per game early in this 2026 season is not Caitlin Clark. It is Angel Reese of the Atlanta Dream, averaging 5.3 turnovers per game early in this season. Where is the outrage over that? Where are the viral threads calling out Angel Reese's turnover issue? Nowhere to be found. Because the critics attacking Clark's turnovers are not doing real statistical analysis. They are executing targeted criticism, and Kate Scott called it out exactly as it is, live on national TV with the whole world watching. In Dre's personal opinion, Kate Scott just did something very few voices in sports media ever have the guts to do. She spoke the raw truth about the talk about a double standard in real time. No segment, no YouTube video, no podcast. She did it right in the middle of the actual game. That takes real courage and serious conviction. And it means knowing the game well enough to not just echo whatever Twitter is saying. Kate Scott, you earned our ultimate respect this week. You really did. Now, let's pivot to our second drama, which might actually be the most baffling story of the week. While all of this coaching staff drama is playing out, and while Kate Scott is defending Clark on national television, the WNBA's official social media account posted a promo graphic for a nationally televised Sunday doubleheader. 2 games, massive stage, the most watched day of the early season. And on that graphic, the league promoted A'ja Wilson for the Las Vegas Aces matchup. They featured Angel Reese for that same game. Good? Fine? Those are stars. That makes sense. And then for the Indiana Fever versus Seattle Storm matchup, a game featuring the single most commercially valuable player in the history of the league, the woman who generated massive television ratings, more ticket sales, and more merchandise cash than anyone before her. The WNBA chose to put Raven Johnson on that graphic. Raven Johnson, a first-round pick from South Carolina in the 2026 draft. A rookie averaging, according to multiple reports, 1.3 points per game in 7 minutes of playing time. She hadn't scored a single point in the game that this graphic was promoting. She isn't a starter. She's a bench player in the early weeks of her professional career. And the WNBA, the league that has benefited more than any other entity on earth from Caitlin Clark, put her face on that promo instead of Clark's. According to reports, the post blew up almost immediately. Within a day, it had accumulated over 5.2 million views and more than 1,000 comments on X alone. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy posted a video reaction calling it, and I'm paraphrasing here, the most idiotic promotion he'd ever seen in sports. He said explicitly, to not put Caitlin Clark on every graphic for every Fever game is literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, would you ever promote a Lakers game? And he didn't finish the sentence because the answer is so obvious that finishing it felt completely unnecessary. He concluded with this: you are openly saying we hate Caitlin Clark. We hate her fans. We don't want you. Sports writer Jason Whitlock called it absolutely mind-blowing and said, you can't make this stuff up. The backlash was instant, unified, and overwhelming from every corner of the sports world. And according to multiple reports, the WNBA has not publicly addressed the massive backlash or explained the reasoning behind the graphic. Nothing but pure silence. Now, here's the kicker that makes this whole promo situation even more damning when you step back. This isn't new. According to reports, this pattern of leaving Clark out of league promos, commercials, and graphics has been documented across all 3 of her seasons. This isn't a simple one-time slip-up. This isn't just an intern making a bad call on a random Tuesday afternoon. It is a recurring choice by the league that has happened so often that it feels, whether it's intentional or not, like institutional pushback against the biggest star the sport has ever seen. Think about the business side for 1 second. According to reports, the Indiana Fever's franchise valuation surged from $90 million when Clark was drafted to $560 million entering this season. $560 million. That is a massive 500% surge in franchise value tied directly to one superstar's arrival. TV broadcast deals exploded. Ticket sales and attendance records shattered. Merchandise revenue went through the roof. And visiting arena crowds surged every time Indiana was on the fast road schedule. The entire league ecosystem is far richer, both financially and culturally, because of Caitlin Clark. Yet they keep finding ways to market around her instead of through her. As multiple analysts pointed out this week, you'd never see the NBA promote a Bulls game in the 90s without Michael Jordan. You'd never see them advertise a game today without LeBron James featured on the graphic. Every sport promotes its biggest stars except, apparently, when the WNBA deals with Caitlin Clark. My take? At some point, this pattern speaks for itself. You can claim it is a creative choice. You can say it's about highlighting fresh talent. You can say it's about featuring players from the same college program who were teammates. But when the overall record across 3 seasons shows Clark constantly left out of graphics, promos, and campaigns again and again, while the league simultaneously struggles to sell tickets, you have to ask, who is making these decisions? And whose interests do they actually serve? And that brings us to the third crisis of the week. The ticket mess. Because the Fever's marketing team is operating in absolute panic mode, and it shows. Reports say their 2026 home opener was not even a sellout. That sounds crazy when you realize this is the franchise that broke every attendance record back in 2024, Clark's rookie year, bringing in over 17,000 fans a night and posting massive home numbers of 340,000 fans. No franchise had ever touched that. That was the gold standard. That was the house that Caitlin Clark built. Yet here we are, barely 2 years later, and they are struggling to fill seats for a home opener because of sky-high prices. According to reports, the main issue is greed. The Fever jacked up prices for the 2026 season. Some sources describe single-game tickets costing more than premium NBA playoff seats. They expected loyal fans to shell out as much for a regular season game as they would for prime NBA postseason seats, and the ticket market pushed right back. Clark has massive drawing power, but fans have limits when ticket costs go from affordable to totally insane, all while the front office keeps erasing the very star people want to watch from their own promos. And look, Street Hoops is going to say something highly controversial here, but it is raw truth. This empty seat problem is entirely self-inflicted. Do not blame Clark. Blame the franchise. You possess the biggest name in women's sports. You had a massive crowd that literally set historic league records every single night, and your brilliant move was to hike up prices to NBA playoff heights, promote bench players over your superstar, and stir up enough bench drama to dominate the internet every week. You completely ruined the easiest marketing job around. Every single seat at the arena should be packed from tip-off to buzzer whenever Clark is on the floor. That it is not represents a total leadership disaster. Now, let's connect these Three pieces. On their own, each is bad enough, but combined, they show a franchise that is somehow sabotaging its own success on every front at once. The coaching staff is feeding viral, on-court arguments with their generational talent every single week. Meanwhile, the league's promo engine is hyping up a bench piece instead of the face of basketball. Prices skyrocket as crowds shrink, and the girl caught in the eye of the storm, Caitlin Clark, is somehow still playing at a historic level. She is averaging a career-best 24.3 points and 9 assists over the first 4 games of this fresh season. She is already the sole athlete in WNBA history to put up a second double-double featuring 30 points and 10 assists. She single-handedly generated 38 of Indiana's 77 points late in that battle with the Storm. That is the crazy stat Kate Scott called out. She is a 2-time All-Star, the recent FIBA World Cup qualifier, MVP in Puerto Rico, and just 3 days from the victory podium at the Indianapolis 500 as Grand Marshal before 350,000 fans, she is doing everything right. The franchise surrounding her is the disaster. And here is what mainstream media keeps tiptoeing around. But we will say flat out, the league was handed a massive financial windfall by a single rookie. One star changed the economic path of the entire WNBA. The historic collective bargaining deal, the rising salaries, the new revenue-sharing model, the massive TV contracts, every bit of that happened because the league's value completely exploded when Caitlin Clark showed up. Yet their response to that golden ticket, on a promo level, a management level, and a coaching level, has consistently been to treat their savior like an annoying employee instead of the once-in-a-lifetime face of the franchise. Kate Scott recognized it and called it out on air. Crowds see it in those vacant arena seats that used to overflow. Social media saw it in that graphic where Raven took Caitlin Clark's spot. Multiple fires are burning in this house, and nobody seems to be looking for a fire extinguisher. The 2026 season is only 5 games deep. They can fix things. There is still time to fix the promotions, heal the sideline vibe, and just let Clark run the floor the way she was born to do it. But time is running out, and fans who spent money building this movement will not wait around forever. I am Dre Fever. That is the word on the street. And Street Hoops always keeps it real with you. Look, if you are locked in right now, you know the vibe. Smash that like button right away. Not after the video, not later tonight, but right now. That is how the algorithm finds us. That is how this channel grows. And that is how we keep bringing you this raw, unfiltered coverage every single week. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the WNBA leaving Clark off that graphic was intentional or pure incompetence? Is Kate Scott your new favorite broadcaster? And is the Indiana Fever front office the real problem, dragging this team down right now? I want all your takes. I am reading every single comment. And if you are not subscribed to Street Hoops yet, fix that immediately. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and make sure you are here the next time this Fever situation blows up, because it absolutely will. Dre Fever, Street Hoops. See you next time.